Hi guys, one thing which has helped me to crack 6 out of 6 prelims with very high scores is my command over static portion. Guys, if you are very strong with the static portions, then your chances of qualifying the prelims examination increases like anything. But the problem is that if you start covering each and every topic of the static subjects, then sometimes it becomes very challenging. But if you analyze the last 10 years paper, you will come to the conclusion that there are some important themes, there are some important topics which are getting repeated every year from every subject. So guys, in this video, I'm going to give you those important themes, those important topics which are getting repeated, and 90% of static questions are coming from this topic. So guys, if you are a serious candidate for the prelims 2024, please watch the video till the end. Here you are going to get all the important topics which are coming in UPSC examination. 90% of the static questions are coming from the topic which I'm going to share. Guys, you can see here I have scored one of the highest marks in the prelims examination, and this was possible only because my command over the static subject. So let's begin, guys. So first what I will do is that I will do a analysis of last 10 years prelims paper. Guys, if you break the last 10 years prelims paper into marks wise weightage, you will understand that around on an average 15 questions are coming from the polity section, and economy there are around 18 questions, and history there are around 15 questions. This portion is the static portion of the UPSC prelims because most of the questions in polity are static, most of the questions in economy are static, and most of the questions in history are static. On the other hand, if you see environment section, there are 18 questions, geography section, there are around 10 questions, science and tech around 12 questions, and international relation, which is increasing these days, there are around 10 questions. And you see this portion is mostly current affairs based, and here you have to rely on some coaching institutes current affairs compilation. Even I am coming out with a very comprehensive current affairs compilation. Guys, in the last 2 years, most of the questions from the current affairs have come from our current affairs compilation. This year also I'll be releasing my current affairs compilation in the month of January. Guys, if you see this portion, if you break this 50%, this portion is completely static. Polity, you have Lakshmikant. For economy, you have the NCRT macroeconomy book and the Shankar Ganesh. And for the NCRT, again, you have, for the history, again, you have the NCRT and the spectrum. So guys, what I will do in this video is that I will give you the most important, most repeated themes in polity, economy, history, and some themes in environment and geography. However, if you see environment and geography, most of the questions these days are coming current affairs oriented. So if you are planning your prelims preparation for the 2024, so now in the month of December and in the month of January, what you need to do is that you can cover this polity, economy, and history, the important themes which I am going to give you, so that when in the month of February, when you start your serious preparation for the prelims 2024, you are ready for mastering the current affairs. Your burden of static books, your burden of static syllabus is already taken care. So guys, if you really want to crack the prelims exam in 2024, guys, this is the portion you have to target now before the January 2024 ends. This is the portion you have to tackle. You have around 60 days. So guys, let us begin. So guys, first I'll start with economy. Here. I would like to caution everyone. I would like to caution everyone that most of the students, what mistake they are doing is they are referring some bulky coaching institutes and mentors compilation. I was surprised to know from one of the aspirants that he was saying, sir, I'm referring notes which is around 700 to 800 pages for the economy. Guys, you need not read 700 800 pages of economy, and I'm telling with lot of authority because I have got most of the economy questions right in the prelims examination. You can see How can I score 140, 130 in the prelims paper without getting all the static questions correct? It is not possible. I have got most of the static questions correct. So guys, what I have analyzed, that 90% of the questions in economy are coming from these four sections. These four sections, you can see, first and most important section, 30% of the questions in economy is coming from money, banking and monetary policy. Here the questions are of the type on concept of money, types of money, concept of banking, then RBI Act, then Monetary Policy Committee, then RBI tools. This is very, very important. Every year, at least two questions are coming on monetary policy tools, where repo rate, bank rate, CRR, SLR, MSF, sterilization, etc., etc. So this is the most important portion. 30% means if there are 10 questions coming out of economy, 3 questions are coming from this section only. If there are 20 questions, 6 questions are coming from this section. This is very, very important. And guys, in the last couple of years, since the problem of inflation is very high, so RBI is struggling with maintaining inflation. So guys, this is very, 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 very important section for next year also. Next important section is the budget and fiscal policy. Here you see 10% of the questions are coming from this subject, this section. Here types of receipt, then types of taxes, tax to GDP ratio, fiscal deficit, and then FDI. This is the type of question which have come from this section. Next is the important topic where again 10% of questions are coming every year, is inflation, unemployment, poverty and development. So guys, here you have got questions on types of inflation. What is headline inflation? What is core inflation? What is CPI? What is WPI? How can we control inflation? Then types of unemployment, how to measure unemployment. There are various surveys. Then demographic dividend, very, very important. A lot of questions have come on the theme of demographic dividend. Then types of poverty, how to measure poverty, various committees on poverty. And last but not the least is the concept of human development and sustainable development. Here human development index, etc., etc., have been asked. Last section of economy, where again 10 to 15% of the questions are coming, is on the external sector. Here you have questions from what is an open economy, what is a closed economy, 1991 economic policy, exchange rate, BOP, and then you see a lot of questions coming on the important items of import and export for India. For example, which is the largest agriculture import, which is the largest agriculture export, which is the destination where we are exporting, which is the destination from where we are importing, and WTO, particularly the agriculture policy of WTO. If you read these sections, I can challenge 90% of the questions on economy you can read. And guys, let me tell you, if you cover from this book, okay, hardly there are 30 to 40 pages, hardly there are 30 to 40 pages, and you read this book less than I think 150 pages. Okay, so the entire economy you can read by only around 200 pages. No need to read 700 pages, just 200 pages you can read everything. And I'm telling you, 90% of the questions have come from these topics only. I've analyzed the last 10-15 years of paper, and after that analysis I am presenting this before you. So just save this and just stick to this. In the next 2 months, cover these concepts. I can tell you, no force on earth can stop you from qualifying the prelims examination if from the month of February you follow my Optima timetable, Optima notes and Optima tests. So guys, let us come to the next theme, next subject guys, polity. Again 15 questions are coming from polity. If you see, out of 15 questions guys, 12 questions are coming from only these chapters. So guys, this book, you know that there are around 70 chapters in this book guys, but let me tell you, if you see, 90% of the questions are not coming more than 15 chapters, not coming more than 15 chapters. Just imagine, out of 70 chapters, just 15 chapters are important guys. Here you can see, before you read this book, what you have to do is that you have to refer basic concept. You have to refer basic concept from the NCERT books, concept of constitutional government, concept of liberty, concept of democracy, concept of rights, which is given in the NCERT book. These are the NCERT books which you need to read guys. Here at least 10% of the questions are coming from this basic concepts. Then guys, the first section of the Indian polity book, M Lakshmikant, you can see constitutional framework. Guys, you must be okay, amazed that around 20% of the questions are coming from this constitutional framework, which is part 1 of the Lakshmikant book. Here, historical background, one question, salient features, one question, making of constitution, one question, preamble, one question, fundamental right, one question, fundamental duty, one question, DPSP, one question, and amendment, one question. So you see around 6 to 7 questions are coming from this section only, constitutional framework. So guys, most of the students, what they do, they start trying to read all the 70 chapters and they get demoralized. Guys, if you analyze and if you stick to the chapters which I am telling, 90% of the questions you can solve. Guys, next is the chapter of parliament and state legislature. Guys, 15% of the questions have come from this chapter. So if there are around, okay, if there are around 12 questions, then around 2 to 3 questions are coming from this chapter of parliament only. Entire chapter is important here. Entire chapter of parliament and state legislature is important. Try to integrate parliament and state legislature together. Here you need to focus on types of bills, and then the role of speaker, then committees, then privileges, etc, etc. Lot of things, everything is important in this chapter. Next, judiciary, again a very important chapter. 10% of the questions have come from the judiciary. Entire chapter, again entire chapter. What is the jurisdiction of Supreme Court? How, what is the strength of Supreme Court? Then how are the judges appointed? How are the judges removed, etc, etc. Everything is important. Everything is important in these two chapters. And last but not the least is executive. In executive, you have to read only president and governor. Most of the questions have come on president and governor. Sometimes questions have come on council of minister also, but they are very basic questions. Anyone can solve those questions. Anyone can solve those questions. So guys, you can see just 4 chapters. You need to read just 4 chapters or 4 sections in the Lakshmikant book. Just these topics you need to read. 90% of the questions you can solve. Don't get, okay, don't get demoralized that I have to read so much. Guys, if you analyze, that is why I say analysis, trend analysis is very, very important. Guys, save this video. Every time you start preparing, just watch this video before you start reading Lakshmikant, or watch this video before you start reading economy. This is going to be really, really helpful for your preparation. Guys, next comes ancient and medieval history. Guys, in history section we have ancient medieval history and we have modern India. Guys, if you see, this is a very vast portion, but if you see the type of questions have come, 90% of the questions have come from these chapters which I have listed here. For example, Indus Valley civilization here, okay, the time period, then the urban settlements, what were the salient features, etc, etc. Then Vedic age, then Jainism and Buddhism, very, very important. Every year at least 2 questions coming from this topic. Then Mauryan age, then Gupta age, then Chola, then Vijayanagar, then Mughal. Particularly Cholas are very important. Vijayanagar is very, very favorite topic of UPSC, and even Mughals are also very favorite, particularly the Mughal architecture and Mughal painting. You can expect questions. Guys, coming to the modern India, entry of Europeans, very important. Nowadays, every year one question is coming on entry of Europeans. Then impact of British rule in India, again very, very important. Okay, what is the administrative impact, what is the political impact, what is the economic impact, very, very important. Then tribal uprising and civil uprising. Tribal uprising is becoming very, very, very important. You can expect questions on tribal uprising. Then 1857, very important. Then economic critique, again very important, very repeated theme in the UPSC prelims. Then moderates, Swadeshi movement, last year we got a question on Swadeshi movement. Then home rule movement, again questions of home rule movement. Then Mahatma Gandhi, every year you get one question on Mahatma Gandhi, Champaran, Ahmedabad. Then Rowlatt Satyagrah, then non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, Khilafat Andolan, Quit India movement. Then revolutionaries, again a very important emerging theme in the UPSC prelims paper. Then guys, development leading to freedom struggle. Every year one question coming from this, starting from the Cripps mission, okay, till the end, the entire development. They ask, generally they ask chronology based question from this section. Then Azad Hind Fauj and Netaji's contribution. And last but not the least, important personalities. Guys, just read these topics. Guys, I can tell you 90% of the questions will come from these themes only. Coming to environment section, guys, environment section, first let me caution you, nowadays if you see, 75% of the questions are current affairs based in environment. Most of the students, they are reading this book or the other book, okay, other books also, and they are finding this book is as very bulky. Guys, what I will recommend, before you read this book, read the NCRT ecology section. Read the NCRT ecology section. It is, I think, less than 40 pages, less than 40 pages. All the important concepts have been covered by the NCRT. Here you see most of the questions in the static section have come from the ecosystem, definition of ecosystem, food chain, food web, productivity of ecosystem, climax, biochemical cycle, etc., etc. Then biodiversity, meaning, type, conservation, theme. You can see here biodiversity, ecosystem, and then guys, pollution, air pollution, water pollution, solid waste pollution, biomedical pollution, e-waste. Again, you see environmental issues here. You will get pollution here. Ozone also is becoming very important. And last but not the least, which is covered in this book beautifully, is the environmental legislation, EPA, Wildlife Act, Biodiversity Act, Forest Rights Act, and Forest Conservation Act. Very important. So guys, this is the static portion. This is the static portion. Focus on only these chapters. Focus on this chapter. Rest is current affairs. Rest is current affairs, which you will be reading from any coaching institute's compilation. Our compilation will be the best compilation on environment, I can promise you. Next, going on, the last section is the geography section. Again, guys, most of the questions are current affair based and they are very difficult to predict. But if you see the number of chapters where some static questions are coming, is first is the physiography. In physiography, earth interior, S&P waves, earthquake, volcano, and plate tectonics. Then guys, in atmosphere, we have heat budget, atmosphere, and precipitation. Then guys, in oceanography, you have questions on, okay, tides, questions on tides, waves, okay, cold currents, salinity, temperature profile. Then guys, Indian drainage, very important. Every year one question on Indian drainage. They'll give you rivers, they'll give you tributaries, they will give you, and they'll ask you to match the pairs. Then guys, Indian monsoon, very important. Then in soil is a very important topic, particularly Indian soil. Then crops, types of crops. Every year you have one question coming from crops. These days the focus is on sustainable agriculture, so the focus is on water intensive crops. Focus can be on millets. Then guys, water resource, and last but not the least is the mineral resource. Here the focus is shifting towards critical minerals. The focus is shifting towards critical minerals or green minerals like lithium, cobalt. Last year there was a question on cobalt, then rare earth metal, etc. So guys, this is what you need to cover in the static portion. Guys, let me tell you, 90% of the static questions will come from the topics which I have discussed in this video. Please again and again watch this video, save this video. This video is going to be a lifesaver for you, for your prelims paper. Guys, let me tell you, in our lecture test series, I have covered all these static themes which have got repeated in the UPSC in our static test of luck, which is the NCRT and advanced level test. And the beauty is that, guys, we have framed questions. I have framed questions in the new pattern. Guys, solving the question in the new pattern is very important. Most of the students are ignoring this development. Guys, last year I'm telling you, many students were shocked because of the new pattern and they were not able to perform. If you are a sincere candidate, if you are really a sincere contender for the prelims 2024, start solving questions in the new pattern. Guys, I'm telling you, everyone, okay, everyone studies, but not everyone practices, and whoever practices wins the UPSC game. And I'm telling you from my experience of cracking all 6 prelims and scoring very high marks in the prelims paper. So guys, please do consider liking this video and sharing this video with all the UPSC aspirants who are struggling with the prelims paper. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.